Hey everyone, I'm here today to take a look at the Hammond Collection Velociraptor Blue from Mattel. Front of the packaging you can see it's an open window with a picture of the toy in the corner, Velociraptor Blue, and then Hammond Collection at the top, pretty standard. On the side you've got a picture of the toy, on the back some more pictures, and then on the side there Hammond Collection, nothing too exciting. Now I'll go over the articulation. The head has two joints, one where it connects to the shoulders and one at the base of the head where it connects to the neck. So you've got double articulation there for getting the head to go up and down, looking around, behind, things like that. Mouth opens and closes. The arms go out to the side and around, and there's also an elbow joint so you can straighten the arms. No wrist articulation, but the Velociraptors never have. And then the back legs, they pivot outwards a little bit, not too much. There's a slight pivot there, as well as going forward and backwards. And then there's knee articulation and ankle articulation. It goes forward and backwards and around. It's pretty tight. And so the ankles there move forward and backwards, like that. Then at the tail there's articulation where it connects to the body, and you do have to plug that in when you get the figure. It's kind of disassembled partly when it comes to the tail. And then there's some rubber along the tail which has a wire inside, which is pretty standard for all the Hammond Collection, so you can bend that wire to bend the tail however you want it really. So all the articulation you'd expect really from a Hammond Collection Velociraptor. Blue here is the first of the Hammond Collection Velociraptors to have the glass eyes, or clear plastic. I'm not sure if it's glass or clear plastic, but you can see if I bring in the first Velociraptor they did from the first Jurassic Park film, the eyes are painted on. Now when the eyes are this small, I don't feel like the glass effect works quite as well, because it's so tiny you can't really see the detail. The eyes look a bit blank, even though there is a pupil in there. It's not really that visible like it is on the painted heads, like on this older Velociraptor. We've got a close-up there, you can just about see the pupil in the eye. It doesn't show up too well. Still looks nice though, and in general these glass eyes do look better than painted on. But on the Velociraptors it's been a bit hit and miss. Like I didn't feel the paint job on this Velociraptor from Jurassic Park 3 looked all that good around the eyes. There's just something a bit off about it. Now here's my previous blue, and this is the battle damage one, which up until this point I think is the best blue we've had. And you can see the difference with the sculpting, how much more detailing. Like this new one has more kind of a spotty effect on the skin, rather than on this one where it's more lines and wrinkles. You can see the blue paint job itself along the side is quite a bit different as well. It's kind of thinner on this new one than on the battle damage. It's a lighter blue on the Hammond Collection blue as well. There's also a bit more kind of grey detailing in the paint job on the legs and the side of the chest there. Kind of grey stripes you can just about see that we don't have on the battle damage one. But I actually prefer the articulation on the top of the neck of the battle damage Velociraptor than on the new one. It kind of blends better. The joint is tighter, so there's no gap between the neck and the head. Whereas on this Hammond Collection one, there's kind of more of a gap, so it doesn't look as natural. I mean, it looks like two separate pieces of plastic, the head and the neck. Whereas on this one, it almost looks like one piece. And yet the articulation is just as good here, if better, than on the Hammond Collection one. Like, you get a really nice range of motion the way the articulation is on this battle damage blue, just as much as you get on this Hammond Collection one, but it just looks better in my opinion on the battle damage. So I kind of wish that it was a bit more like that. Obviously not at the bottom of the neck, because there isn't any articulation at the bottom of the neck on this one, but there's no reason why the top of the head and connecting to the neck couldn't have been the same on both of them. But the head in general is a lot smoother on that battle damage one. There's a lot more detail on the new one. I've got a lot of affection for that battle damage blue though. Oops, she's fallen down. But you can also see that the mouth on the new one, the bottom jaw, is a pale colour. Kind of a creamy white, like it goes down the front of the neck there. Whereas there's no detailing like that on the battle damage one until you get to the chest. maybe I'm just used to that battle damage one, but I kind of prefer the look of the battle damage blue over this Hammond collection one. Look at the other side of her. And I'll bring in one of the human figures, Owen, there, so you can get a size comparison with him. And there's a comparison with all the other Hammond collection Velociraptors we've had. We've got one from the first movie, two from Jurassic Park 3. Surely next it's got to be the Tiger Stripe Raptor from The Lost World. It'd be cool to see them because they're a nice design. There are actually quite a lot of new parts on Blue. Now the other three Raptors we got were all pretty much exactly the same apart from the heads. But on Blue, almost everything is different. The body is a bit bigger than the other Velociraptors, who have a thinner torso than Blue does. Her thighs are thicker, her legs are thicker, but her feet are smaller. The feet on all the other Velociraptors were a bit too big, like they looked like they were wearing dinosaur slippers. And I get why Mattel did that for balance, but it doesn't really look that good. The feet just look too big and out of proportion. But the feet on Blue are a lot smaller and look a lot better. Blue also has different arms. Her hands are in a bit of a different position to the other Velociraptors. They're kind of more facing downwards like that, whereas on these older ones the fingers were spread out a bit more. You can see on the back of the head there's kind of a bigger articulation point at the top of the neck there. So I guess you can get more of a range of motion on Blue than on the older ones. Though it doesn't really look like Blue's head goes back any further. So it looks as if Blue is a completely new sculpt, no reused parts whatsoever. And finally here she is with Beta, her little baby. They look pretty good together. Though the grey is darker on the Hammond collection Blue than on the mainline ones, and thus on the mainline Beta as well. So you can see a bit of a difference in the shade of grey on the two of them. They don't quite match as well as the battle damage does with Beta. I don't know if they'd ever do a dinosaur quite as small as Beta in the Hammond collection, so I kind of wish they'd released Blue as a deluxe pack with a little baby Beta with her. Then maybe they'll release a pack of just kind of baby dinosaurs and Beta can be in there with Bumpy or something. Got quite an odd assortment of Velociraptors now. We haven't got Blue's pack from Jurassic World, but we have got 4 Velociraptors now together, with the 2 from the 3rd film, 1 from the 1st and 1 from the 4th. So that's the Hammond collection Blue from Jurassic World. Nice to finally get Blue in the line, and I guess it's kind of appropriate that she's the dinosaur that gets, or the Velociraptor that gets the upgrade compared to the other 3. Definitely a better sculpt, looks better with the smaller feet and the thicker body and legs than the other ones that seemed alright at the time, but actually in comparison they do look a bit too scrawny and skinny now, and the feet definitely look too big. So this is an upgrade. The glass eyes are pretty nice, but I didn't mind the painted eyes on these smaller dinosaurs. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll catch you again soon.